Hello, this is my capstone final report. The first problem we addressed was making a secure mounting for the motor.
This is the motor mount system before it goes in the submarine. We won't be able to see it again. It is a threaded rod that goes up through the motor mount and is threaded right through the bulkhead. And we'll just snip off these bolts afterwards. And it's actually pretty sturdy. Like, I can pick up the motor from it, and it's all good.
We had to make a custom bolt for the GoPro fitting because all the other bolts were too big. And here I am smashing lead pipes like a caveman because we had to shape the lead so it would fit on the bottom of the submarine well. Okay, so after all that, I decided to be a good caveman and cover all the lead in paint and saran wrap to not poison the fish. So here's the button pressing system that we're going to use to activate the linear actuator for the ballast system. So using the elevator controls, the servo will push a button, which will make the ballast tank go in and out, making the sub sink and float. So here we've got the entire DX5 controller compacted into a small little package that will hopefully fit inside the submarine. It is all like shrunk down and it looks kind of like a bomb, which is not good. And to make sure that it's not actually a bomb, we've covered up all of the little circuit boards on the bottom so that no metal touches other metal. Because usually it's inside the controller and it's not moving with each other, it's not touching other things. So now it's all safetied up. And what we've got here is the LEDs. We've got the power switch, we've got the trainer switch, and the rate switch. So those are the switches we'll need to use. And then we've got the actual transmitter here and the antenna, which isn't going to be sticking out of the submarine, but it's just going to be separate from that. And then we've got this, which connects this controller here to the controller that we'll actually be using on the surface. So a wire is going to go from here outside the submarine all the way to the controller on the surface, and that's how it's actually going to get through. The battery wasn't working for us, so we're just going to take the AA battery slot right out of the back of the controller because we don't have any extras. I'm going to try and do it with a soldering iron. We're just about to put the final cap on the submarine and it will be ready to go. So first, before we do that, you can see the speed control switch for turning it on. For the bow thruster, we got the receiver here and all the radio equipment sticking out of the bag, and the switches that we need. Yep, and then this speed control switch will be attached to the rim here as well once this goes in. So now that everything is all in and ready to go, we're going to go do the test at Kate's Park because all the pools are closed and the water at Burnaby Lake isn't deep enough. So we're here at Kate's Park in the actual ocean. It's kind of wavy, but so far it's working. We have to make sure that the cable, the tether, stays out of the water because it gets tangled in the propeller pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
Yeah. Yes.
We are.
Yeah, we've got a leak though, but
Whoa.
okay, start coming back on the control.
Yeah.
A bit, because we really don't know how deep it is there, right?
Oh, I gotta go forwards.
Yeah.
Oh, I can kind of actually see it and control it from here.
Yeah.
Gotta turn left. and get away from the dock. You might want to let some more slack out on there.
Well, I don't want you to get stuck on the bottom, that's the thing.
Okay, I'm trying to surface now.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to come up under the dock though, so you got to go reverse.
Reverse.
Or
Whoa. Okay, that's okay. It's fine. So this here is some onboard footage of our first test at Kate's Park. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to see what's going on because it's so murky, except right now I'm just maneuvering further away from the dock so I can dive. That loud sound is the linear actuator being activated, and it is pulling pistons from each end of the bottom hull, allowing water to flood each end and causing the submarine to sink. Here I'm just verifying that I still have complete control while 4 meters down underwater. And I can actually see the submarine from the surface at this point, even though you can't really see what's going on because it's so green and murky on the camera feed. So now you can probably hear the linear actuator going again, and that is pushing the pistons outwards, forcing the water out and making the submarine lighter, causing it to float to the surface. The footage you're seeing here was also being broadcasted to a phone connected to the controller on the surface, so we could see exactly what was happening at the same time.
right?
Yeah. Okay, it's gotten very dark on the camera, on the live stream.
Is there any way to tell if you're still...
I don't think the video might... You can probably see some green... Oh.
Just
yeah,
do the
we got
bow thruster,
green.
see if you can see some bubbles or something.
Yeah, you can see. Look at the camera feed.
So we are right...
I can see the dock as I pass by it.
Oh.
There. The poles that hold it up.
because of the glare, but I believe you.
We're back for a second test, and we've made some field modifications. We've just strapped a light on here to be able to see deep down. We have extended the bow thruster to hopefully give it a little bit more authority, and that's pretty much it.
No, I don't think that I can still see... Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. Good.
At this point, I've put the linear actuator at the full surface position, but nothing's really happening.
Oh, you're about even. I've got just... Oh, you're descending again. Yeah, okay.
Here's some more on board of the same test. The light doesn't really do anything, but it was an attempt. From the onboard footage, we can later see that the linear actuator is having a difficult time trying to make the submarine dive. Eventually it succeeds and sinks the submarine. The submarine actually sinks surprisingly quickly in just a few seconds to a depth of 4.2 meters, which we measured with the tether that has a knot in it at 4 meters. In this video, you can hear that the linear actuator is sounding a little bit odd, and it's not really sending the submarine back up like it should. So we decided to pull it up by the safety tether that we had attached to it. After the test, we pulled the submarine apart and found that the linear actuator was probably jamming on the batteries that were sitting down in the ballast hull with it. This issue seems to happen every once in a while, and it's kind of a difficult problem to fix because there's really no space left in the submarine for the batteries to go other than down there with the actuator. In conclusion, I think both tests were pretty successful. We found a few flaws and a few good things about the submarine as well, and it completed its main task. It communicated through 4 meters of water, and we had complete control at the very bottom, and it could drive around. I think one serious flaw that was very annoying is just the inefficient hull shape that we decided on. Because we were unable to custom make a hull, we had to use 2 sewage pipes, and it's just not very efficient for inside space, and there's just not enough space and things get jammed and wires get tangled. In the first test, there was also serious leakage, and basically half the submarine was filled with water by the time the end of the test came around. But we sorted out those problems by the second test, but probably still damaged lots of electronics. I think this project was tons of fun, and I would probably want to continue it sometime, either in a capstone project or on my own time, with a custom-built hull probably, and maybe like an arm or some sort of sensor to make it a little more interesting.